The Votadini were a Celtic people of the Iron Age in Great Britain. The territory was in what is now southeast Scotland and northeast England, extending south of the Firth of Forth and extended from the Stirling area down to the English River Tyne, including at its peak what are now the Falkirk, Lothian and Borders regions of eastern Scotland, and Northumberland in northeast England. They were briefly part of the Roman province Britannia. Their capital was probably the Traprain Law hill fort in East Lothian, until that was abandoned in the early 5th century, moving to Din Eidyn. The name is recorded as Votadini in classical sources. Their descendants were the early medieval kingdom known in Old Welsh as Votadini, and in later Welsh as Gododin. One of the oldest known pieces of British literature is a poem called Why Gododin, written in Old Welsh, having previously been passed down via the oral traditions of the Brythonic-speaking Britons. This poem celebrates the bravery of the soldiers from what was later referred to by the Britons as Year Henoghled, the Old North, a reference to the fact that this land was lost in battle to an invading force at Traprain. Prehistory. The area was settled as early as 3000 BC, and offerings of that period imported from Cumbria and Wales left on the sacred hilltop at Cairn Papal Hill, West Lothian, show that by then there was a link with these areas. By around 1500 BC, Traprain Law in East Lothian was already a place of burial, with evidence of occupation and signs of ramparts after 1000 BC. Excavation at Edinburgh Castle found late Bronze Age material from about 850 BC. Brythonic Celtic culture and language spread into the area at some time after the 8th century BC, possibly through cultural contact rather than mass invasion, and systems of kingdoms developed. Numerous hill-forts and settlements support the image of quarrelsome tribes and petty kingdoms recorded by the Romans, though evidence that at times occupants neglected the defences might suggest that symbolic power was sometimes as significant as warfare. The Roman period. In the 1st century, the Romans recorded the Votadini as a British tribe. Between 138 to 162 they came under direct Roman military rule as occupants of the region between Hadrian's and the Antonine Walls. Then, when the Romans drew back to Hadrian's Wall, the Votadini became a friendly buffer state, getting the rewards of alliance with Rome without being under its rule, until about 400, when the Romans withdrew from southern Great Britain. Quantities of Roman goods found at Traprain Law, East Lothian might suggest that this proved profitable, though this is open to speculation. Since the 3rd century, Britannia had been divided into 4 provinces. In a late reorganization, a province called Valentia was created, which may have been a new province, perhaps including the Votadini territory, but is more likely to have been one of the 4 existing provinces renamed. Excavations in Votadini territory, especially around Traprain Law, have unearthed silver Roman items, including several Gallic Roman coins, indicating some level of trade with the continent. It is unknown, however, whether the other items were traded for, or given to them by the Romans as an appeasement. The post-Roman period. After the Roman withdrawal in the early 5th century, the lands of the Votadini became part of the area known as the Henoghled. By about 470, a new kingdom of Gododin had emerged, covering most of the original Votadini territory, while the southern part between the Tweed and the Tyne formed its own separate kingdom called Britannia.Their. Canada, legendary founder of the Kingdom of Gwyn of the North Wales, is supposed to have been a Gododin chieftain who migrated southwest about this time. Both kingdoms warred with the Angles of Bernicia. It is this warfare that is commemorated in Aneurin's late 6th, early 7th century poem cycle Why Gododin. However, Gwyn.Their Canada established a militaristic dynasty remained undefeated until the 13th century.